Hello friends, it's Cindy Rumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today's card is a beautiful fun fold, a bridge fold fun fold that Cindy Lee B made and then realized it did not fit into an A2 sized envelope. So this is a card that you're going to have to put into a 6x6 envelope if you have any, or make an envelope for it to fit into. So sorry about that, but I think the card is beautiful and we're just going to go with it. Sometimes you might have to pay a couple extra cents, maybe up to a quarter or something, to mail an oversized card or mail a bulky card or have it hand canceled. But guys, come on, we invest in our craft. We make beautiful cards using our time and our effort. Why not just go that extra step there, the extra mile? Get a stock of some ivory 6x6 envelopes, some white ones, or make a template to make your own, but it's worth it. This is a beautiful card. When you make it to the 4 1/4, you have to cut off some of this, of the stable, and I just kind of liked seeing that all, so we are just going to go with it. Now I'm using 2 of the bundles here, the Night Divine bundle and the Stars at Night bundle that are in that Oh Holy Night suite. So some of these papers are right now not available, but the 2 stamp sets are. So we are going to look at what we're going to do. So we start with this fun fold part that of course does not fit in your A2 sized envelopes. Da 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 da. Night of Navy. It's going to be 8 inches by 5 1/2. So a half sheet of our cardstock, but you cut off 1/2 inch. So we're going to score it 1 1/4 and 2 1/2, and then we're just going to turn our paper and go 1 1/4 and 2 1/2 again. Now that's going to leave us here with a 3 inch area to do some fun stuff with. Okay, so easy enough. You can see that card there. Now what I decided to do is I used just the embossing folder. Now this is a hybrid embossing folder, excuse me, that you can put the dies into the folder and run it through. So you would open up, put your paper in there, and that you would put this die right here, this bigger die, and it will, let me get it off of here. So this big die would fit into this upper part there. And you can see that it stays in place. I mean, it doesn't click in place, but it stays in place. And then you would just put your paper down, close it, and when you run it through, it's going to die cut those stars and they will be embossed. Now this card doesn't call for that design element, but I will make another one doing that. But look how easy you can cut and emboss at the same time. But what I did on my card is I just simply laid a piece of very vanilla in there so that I could get the star embossing here. Now let me just take a peek here, because that's how pretty the star embossing is. So I measured what my, well, I should have measured the size of the card, right? So I measured here, and I wanted it to be 5 1/4 high to fit into these sections, but this section is 1, 2 3/4, 1. So 1, 2 3/4 is 3 3/4. Another one is 4 3/4. So I went 4 3/4 by 5 1/4, and then I just used my trimmer. Oh, where is my little baby trimmer? Where is it? Huh, I must have taken it somewhere. It's not in its little box. So let's just bring out, I'm gonna get my guillotine trimmer. It's, this is an old trusty friend of mine, because I want to make sure that I don't mess up the embossing here. So I'm going to take off a 1/2 inch off of each side. Okay, so 1/2 inch off this side and this side. So that means I'm not a 1/2 inch, a 1 inch. So I could start here at 4 3/4 and go to 3 3/4, and that's going to give me that section there, right? Now think about this. Now I need this section here, so I can now just pop this in to 1 inch, and they're all in order. And I was kind of precariously cutting off of my table, so I got a little bit of a snag down here. So I'm just gonna trim that right there. I was kind of cutting like off of the table. So there, but nobody's gonna actually see it. Now see how they all match up now? I know, maybe if you put them on upside down, they wouldn't work, but I'll tell you one thing for sure, is when I made this one getting prepped, I put it the wrong way. So you definitely can't cut off the 1 inch and the 1 inch when the stars are going this way. This one just doesn't make sense. So make sure you have it into your embossing folder, paying attention to this is you would want the 5 1/4 tall in this way. Okay, there we go. So we've got our 3 pieces there. That is simple enough to put in here now. You know what's funny is this was going to be a class card, so I guess maybe we'll be making an envelope at class as well. Okay, so make sure that's that one. Okay, so we'll put that in the 1 inch section, or it looks like I'm going to be searching for some envelopes, but like I said, I'll have them on hand. So just putting some glue. I do like using glue when I'm using embossing folders because they seem to get into the nooks and crannies, and I'm just putting that into that section that was 3 inches, because that is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 high. And all the measurements and the products and everything I use are on my blog, cindyleebdesigns.com. Underneath the YouTube description here, right underneath it, you will see a link to that blog. You can just press that link. It'll take you right over there for additional photos and such. Now, one thing I want to be careful about is getting a nice 1/8 inch border on each of these sides, because when you go to close this and you put something to bridge it, you want to go right against those edges. Okay, so to make this bridge, I used crumb cake, and I just took a 5 1/4 by 1 3/4 inch high piece of crumb cake. And then I used my basic borders dies. Remember these guys with all these 5 great borders? I used this one, and I just kind of put it a little bit. I made my paper a little bigger than I needed so that when I put it in, I'd have a little edge there. And I just ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but I wanted to give it some texture, so I ran it through the trusty Subtle. I do believe the Subtle is retired now, but just find something that has just a little bit of texture to it to make that have a little bit more of eye appeal there. Okay, so what did I just do with that? Let's put that back right where it belongs. I lost the little buttons to my Crafting With You bundle, and it's probably because I didn't put them away right away, and I am so sad about that. So let me get this little bridge here, and we're gonna put that bridge right to these 2 edges. So I'm gonna find the good side here and put some glue just right on those edges. You don't put it the whole way across here or on here because it's going on the card, so it's only going on here. You could actually have put a little bit on here, but I'm just putting it right here, okay, because I know that's how far over it's gonna go. And then I'm just gonna start at one side and match up that corner right there. And if you've worked, I'm gonna turn it this way so I can see it better. Then this side just falls right to the other corner there. And if you have to with the glue, move it over. It looks like I'm a little bit off there, so I'm just gonna go with leaving a little bit on each side. Normally that would have worked exactly to these edges, but I might not have got, so better to have equal amounts showing on each side. I don't think anybody's gonna notice that. So that is our bridge, and you just fold it down, play with it a little bit, and then we're gonna build up the rest of the card. Okay, so the next thing I did is I put on this Glory to God in the Highest. I mimicked this pattern of texture on the gold. Now, if you have been following me for a while, you'll know why I did that. It seems every time I run gold through, I try to use a brand new acrylic plate, but I get some scratches and stuff on there. So my new hack is to run my gold, but run it through an embossing folder, and then look how fun. It looks like a distressed gold. So we are going to put this Glory to God in the Highest. Now that is in the Night Divine stamp set, Glory to God in the Highest. And I just used my 2-inch punch and my two and a quarter and 2.5. So the 2 1/4 worked for the sentiment, and the 2.5 worked for the gold. So that made easy prepping for that. And then just put some dimensionals on here, and we'll just pop that onto that pretty gold, and that just gives it a fun additional texture. And then you're not worried about, you know, okay, there we go. And then we're gonna pop that in right about the middle of the card, because our stable is going to go right above it. So let's go ahead and put some glue on there. Okay. I'm just going to bring it down right there in the middle. I'm still like, can't believe when I went to make this video, and I went to get my envelope to show how it would fit in there, and it didn't fit. But as I said, it's worth it. So now the next thing I did is I die cut using pecan pie cardstock, the Night Divine dies, this stable. Now this is going to be glued to the card. It's going to be nice and stable, a stable. But this was a little flimsy here, so I wanted to give it a little bit of strength. So what I did is, when you die cut out your stable out of a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece of pecan pie, you're gonna have this middle that pops out. I went back in with what do they call these? The gable or whatever. I took that part out, and I am just going to reinforce it by gluing it onto just the top. It just gave it a little more strength. Trusses. Are they trusses? Glue lambs? I don't know. We built a house once, and I knew all the names, and how my husband said, pray that the trusses come in today, pray that the glue lambs come in, pray for this. So I was like, I knew all these things. Okay, so now we have this reinforced at the top here. So you can see it just came down to about here. So that gives me some strength. Now what I'm gonna do is put the glue on the long part of my stable. And I'm just doing it on the line part here, okay? Because I don't want to have it on the triangular section, because that's the back of the card. So just right here on the posts, okay? Now what we're gonna do, it's a little tricky, but you're going to line up the inner part, make sure it's gonna fit in your 6-inch envelope there at the top. So you're gonna line it right, the inner post with the side of your, and then the other one is gonna fit, and you're using glue, so you can kind of put it right on the fold of the other one, and you can see that it closes. See, it's flush here and flush here. So it's glue, so give it a second. And as you can see, I'm kind of manipulating the card so that it stays flat. Since you use glue, if you have to like push it a little bit over, it's gonna work. So there we've got our little stable. Oh gosh, the humble beginnings of the glorious King Jesus. So here we go. We're gonna put now the manger scene. And once again, I wanted to beef up, even though, isn't that just gorgeous with all that embossing in there? Oh, so pretty. Even though this is got structure to it anyhow, strength to it, because it's the gold foil, I did decide to beef it up a little bit with a piece of Very Vanilla. And this is a thick piece of Very Vanilla. And I'm just going to put some glue on this part, making sure to get up at the edges here. Mary, Joseph, and the Kings. And then I'm just right now seeing that there's a couple pieces didn't pop out right underneath the manger, and this little one here. Okay, there we go, get that out of there. Okay, then I went ahead and put the gold foil nativity right on top of it, just moving it around with the glue, pressing it down so that it's adhered, and then I'm going to put that onto, that little piece didn't come out there. I thought it was glue and I was gonna say, darn. So we're gonna put that onto, so remember not to go up too far on here. Maybe just think to yourself to get just the bottom underneath, right under, keep the stable as your guide there. I mean the manger. Why do I keep saying stable and manger and mixing them up? So then I'll just come over here and underneath it, press it to that bridge, being careful with the glue that's on my hands. So there we go. And the last thing that we need is a sweet gold star. Now, do you think I could find my mini dimensionals today? No, 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 no. But you know what I think might be easy to do is use my foam strips, because I can make a little square. So I'm going to look at the foam strip and kind of make my own dimensional there, because this is nice and hefty. It should fit right. Let me see if we're gonna see it on, oh, we do see it. Maybe I cut it a little too long, okay? And you know, it may be that glue might be the best choice for this, but don't we just love to pop things up? Here we go, get that backing off of there. Okay, we're just gonna pop this right up in the middle of the stable. It just looks so nice, like popped up like that. And our card is almost finished, because you're wondering, where are we writing a note? We're gonna put it on the back. And what we're gonna do is use 2 of the stamps, 1 from each set, of course. We're going to use The Stars Are Brightly Shining from the Night Divine, and then some stars from the Stars at Night. So I like how both of these stamp sets coordinate so nicely together. So I'm just gonna use my Night of Navy, and I'm gonna put these stars right down here in the corner. Well, it's like I want them at the top, but the sentiment, maybe I'll do them different on this one. I will. I'll put them up here, because the stars seem to be like they should be in the sky, right? The stars are brightly shining. And it doesn't kind of fit there, so you have to bring it down here to the bottom. Okay, and you have room to write your message. You could write, you know, Aunt Sue and Uncle John up here, and then da-da-da-da. And then we're going to put that onto the back of our card. I'm not sure if I have any ink on my table, so I'm just going to put a little bit right there on the top and the bottom, and then flip over this card. And don't worry about being able to write on that, because you can press it down on either side to write your message. You just can't put it in one of the envelopes that you have that's an A2 size. Just have to put it into a different one. So I don't know, which way do you like it better? Do you like the stars up here, or the sentiment here, stars? Let me know what you think of that. But like I said, even though it doesn't fit in our A2 size envelopes, it's a beautiful card using the whole glory of that. And notice I do like it better like this, but if you ever get to this type of a mess, like what I might have done is, I see I have a little more space on this side. I probably should have moved over. It's too late now, definitely too late. I should have moved over this, because I see where the space is a little bit here, and that's put me off. But because you're seeing it on both sides, it's okay. Just look at this card. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.